Ambassador Daisy Chen sat motionless in the ornate council chamber, her fingers interlaced on the polished obsidian table. Around her, the representatives of 17 galactic civilizations murmured in their native tongues, the universal translators rendering their words into a cacophony of dismissive chatter. "Primitive," hissed the Zephyrian delegate, his crystalline form pulsing with disdain. "How did such a backward species even achieve faster than light travel?" The Corinthian high speaker's multiple eyes swiveled toward Daisy. Perhaps they stole the technology. It would explain their crude understanding of quantum mechanics. Daisy's jaw tightened imperceptibly, but she maintained her diplomatic composure. Beside her, Captain Jack Morrison shifted in his seat, his military bearing evident even in civilian clothes. As the human military liaison, he had witnessed humanity's technological achievements firsthand. Achievements these aliens dismissed as impossible or stolen. "Esteemed colleagues," Daisy began, her voice cutting through the chatter, "humanity requests formal recognition as a sovereign member of the Galactic Council. We have met all technological and social benchmarks outlined in the Accords." The chamber erupted in what could only be described as alien laughter. The Vorthak Prime Minister, a towering insectoid creature, clicked his mandibles dismissively. "Your species has existed in space for barely 2 centuries. We have been traveling between stars for millennia. What could you possibly offer this council?" "Our perspective," Jack interjected, earning sharp looks from the assembly. "Fresh eyes on old problems." "Fresh eyes?" The Eldaran sage's tentacles writhed with amusement. "Young species, your kind still wages wars upon your birth planet. You poison your own atmosphere and consume your resources with reckless abandon. You are not ready for the responsibilities of galactic citizenship." Daisy felt the familiar burn of injustice in her chest. She had spent 3 years preparing for this moment, studying every aspect of galactic law and diplomacy. "With respect, honored sage, humanity has made remarkable progress in environmental restoration and conflict resolution in recent decades." "Decades?" The Corinthian high speaker's voice dripped with condescension. "We measure progress in millennia. Your species is nothing more than particularly clever animals who stumbled upon technology beyond their understanding." The chamber filled with approving sounds from the assembled aliens. The Nexari delegates' bioluminescent patterns flashed in patterns that Jack's translator rendered as mocking laughter. "They seek to sit among gods as equals. How presumptuous." Jack's hands clenched beneath the table. He had seen humanity's innovations firsthand. The elegant fusion drives that outperformed Zephyrian crystal technology. The quantum computers that solved problems the Corinthians claimed were impossible. The terraforming techniques that had restored Earth's damaged ecosystems in record time. Furthermore, the Vorthak Prime Minister continued, "Your kind's violent nature makes you unsuitable for peaceful coexistence. Your history is written in blood and conquest." "As is every species' history," Daisy replied quietly. "The difference is that humanity has chosen to learn from its mistakes." "Have you?" The Eldaran sage leaned forward, his ancient eyes boring into her. "Your military vessels patrol your borders with weapons that could crack planets. Your colonies strip mine asteroids without regard for stellar ecosystem balance. You are locusts masquerading as civilized beings." The insults continued for another hour. Each delegate took turns cataloging humanity's perceived failures, their voices growing more dismissive with each passing moment. They spoke of humans as if they were unruly children, too immature and destructive for galactic society. Jack watched Daisy's face remain professionally neutral throughout the barrage, though he could see the storm building behind her dark eyes. When the formal vote was called, the result was unanimous. Humanity's application for council membership was rejected. "Perhaps in another 1,000 years, the Vorthak Prime Minister said with mock sympathy, "when your species has matured sufficiently." Daisy stood slowly, gathering her documents with precise movements. "I see," she said, her voice deadly quiet. "The council has made its position clear." She walked to the chamber's exit, Jack falling into step beside her. At the threshold, she turned back to face the assembled aliens. "You speak of maturity and wisdom," she said, her diplomatic mask finally slipping to reveal the steel beneath. "Yet you judge an entire species by your preconceptions rather than evidence. You claim to value peace while dismissing those who seek to join your ranks through diplomacy rather than conquest." The chamber had fallen silent. Humanity came here in good faith, seeking partnership and mutual advancement. We offered our innovations, our perspectives, and our friendship. Her voice carried across the vast space with crystalline clarity. You have rejected all of it based on fear and prejudice disguised as superiority. Jack stepped forward. We won't be back. Good riddance, muttered the Zephyrian delegate. But Daisy wasn't finished. We will remember this day, how you treated us when we sought your acceptance, how you mocked our achievements and dismissed our potential. Her smile was razor-sharp. We hope you remember it too. Without another word, the two humans walked out of the council chamber. Within hours, every human ship, diplomat, and researcher had withdrawn from council space. The borders of human territory sealed themselves, and the galaxy's newest spacefaring species vanished behind a wall of silence. 6 months later, the first reports reached the council chambers. The hegemony invasion fleet, a force that had terrorized the Outer Rim for decades, had been annihilated in human space. Not defeated, annihilated. No survivors, no debris large enough to analyze. A year after that, human colonies had begun appearing in previously uninhabitable systems, their impossible terraforming technology transforming dead worlds into gardens in mere months. By the second year, human trade vessels were bypassing council space entirely, establishing direct relationships with non-council species, and offering technologies the council had declared impossible. The Corinthian High Speaker found himself staring at reports of human quantum tunneling networks that made council FTL technology look like stone knives. The Vorthak Prime Minister watched his military advisors analyze footage of human ships moving through dimensions his species couldn't even detect. But perhaps most disturbing were the refugees. Species after species that had been ignored or dismissed by the council found themselves welcomed into human space, their unique abilities recognized and valued. The council had wanted maturity and wisdom from humanity. Instead, they had created something far more dangerous, a rival civilization that had learned exactly what the established galactic order thought of newcomers. As Daisy had promised, humanity remembered, and they had chosen to prove their worth not through supplication but through action. The galaxy would never be the same.